It was only in 1848 that Switzerland became a more centralized federal state. Switzerland's official name is still the Swiss Confederation. In Latin, this is Confederatio Helvetica, from which the country's international abbreviation, CH, is derived. According to the U.S. Department of State, Switzerland is a federal state composed of 26 cantons, or federal states that make up the country of Switzerland. Each canton regulates the local government, which gives them power to implement federal law.
The population of Switzerland is 7.78 million people, with foreigners accounting for 22%. Switzerland's four main languages are German, French, Italian, and Romansh. The three main geographical regions are the Jura, Plateau, and the Alps, which span over many countries in Europe, with Switzerland containing 20% of them. The climate varies greatly depending on the regions and the time of year. Switzerland is among the world's most prosperous countries in terms of private income. The median income after Social Security, taxes, and mandatory health insurance is about 75,000 francs, or over 95,000 US dollars.
The Swiss economy is based largely on the qualified labor force. These main areas include microtechnology, high-tech, biotechnology and pharmaceuticals, and the banking and insurance industries. The Swiss financial center is a central pillar of the Swiss economy, generating over 11% of Swiss GDP.
Switzerland has the most extensive form of direct democracy in the world. Swiss citizens can both propose legislation of their own or thwart legislation already approved by Parliament. Switzerland assures this under their constitution. Article 17, Freedom of the Media, has three main points. 1. The freedom of the press, radio, and television, as well as all other forms of public broadcasting of productions and information is guaranteed. 2. Censorship is prohibited. And 3. Editorial secrecy is guaranteed.
Banking is the fourth largest employment sector in Switzerland. Switzerland's currency, the franc, is one of the world's strongest reserve currencies, and both Credit Suisse and UBS are among the globe's most soundly capitalized big banks. Switzerland has always been known for its strong banking industry. In 1934, the Swiss law made it a criminal offense to reveal a client's identity. This has created the world's biggest tax haven. Switzerland's banks house around 2.1 trillion, or 27% of offshore wealth, according to the Boston Consulting Group.
To Switzerland. Switzerland used to be perhaps the Las Vegas of banking. It was very secret, but you know what happens in Switzerland? Does it stay in Switzerland these days? We'll find out. Times are changing. The governments around the world want to tighten regulation on banking. Just last week, Switzerland reached an agreement with the United States to exchange bank account information on suspected tax dodgers. And today, a Florida millionaire pleaded guilty to filing a false tax return that failed to disclose assets held at UBS, the largest Swiss bank.
In 2009, the offshore accounts began to draw a lot of attention from the Internal Revenue Service due to the economic downfall in 2008. According to the New York Times, the change in policy is a result of UBS's admitted role in conspiring to defraud the IRS. As part of the agreement, the bank will pay $780 million in damages, cooperate further with U.S. authorities, and also close all offshore accounts of its American clients. Prosecutors suspect that the UBS helped its American clients hide $20 billion from the government, or about $300 million a year in taxes, from late 2002 to 2007.
UBS urged some American clients to destroy records and to stash watches, jewelry, and artwork that they had bought with money hidden offshore in safe deposit boxes in Switzerland. The bank also encouraged them to use Swiss credit cards so the IRS could not track purchases. According to the New York Times in 2009, Peter Kurer, the chairman of UBS, stated, UBS sincerely regrets the compliance failures in its U.S. cross-border business that have been identified by the various government investigations in Switzerland and the U.S., as well as our own internal review. We accept full responsibility for these improper activities. In January 2009, a senior UBS executive, Raoul Weil, was declared a fugitive 2 months after being indicted by a federal judge in connection with the investigation of the bank. Mr. Wheel, a Swiss citizen, oversaw the cross-border private banking operations from 2002 to 2007.
The media in the United States portrayed offshore banking to be illegal and had a negative connotation, but in actuality, having international accounts, if properly documented, is legal. At first, the media didn't compare the rules and regulations of the different banking systems in each country. After it became a hot topic internationally, then the idea of miscommunication in laws between countries became salient. An article from Europe's World stated that bank secrecy was a hot topic on the political agenda, but the European media paid less attention to Americans with bank accounts and focused on tax evaders from EU member countries such as Germany. Switzerland has always had tension with the EU, which is why this was a more important angle for European media to focus on.
So where has this banking controversy put us today? The media still plays a substantial role in addressing the offshore account scandals. According to an article on Reuters, a trial has been scheduled on May 8th. The civil suit filed against UBS in federal court will address how clients could legally rely on their private bankers' assertions that there was no need to disclose the accounts on their tax returns or sign required disclosures. The Russia-born American billionaire Igor Aleniklov accused UBS of fraud in handling some $200 million he kept in offshore accounts and wrongfully advised him that he did not have to report to the tax-collecting IRS. He was found guilty in 2007 and was sued for $52 million and has now filed a lawsuit against the Swiss banks for $500 million in damages that he had to pay.
Under a U.S. Treasury program, banks are required to collect the W-9 forms and withhold taxes on proceeds from U.S. securities held in client accounts and to send that money to the IRS. If clients refuse to sign these papers, names of the clients from foreign accounts must be given to the IRS. UBS admitted as part of its agreement in 2009 that it did not collect or require clients to sign the forms, while concealing their identities from the IRS under Swiss bank secrecy laws.
According to The Economist, starting in 2013, the Foreign Account Tax Compliance Act will put the burden on foreign financial institutions to look for and report American account holders, or face a 30% withholding tax on American investments. Though the Foreign Account Tax Compliance Act may raise $10 billion over 10 years, the cost for the foreign banks that have to implement it could be a lot more. Due to the uprise of the economy, it will be interesting to see how the media portrays the story from the trial in May, and if the media will negatively address Mitt Romney's offshore account with UBS in the upcoming presidential election. Although UBS had a 76% profit loss in the investment banking branch from 2010 to 2011, Switzerland is still considered one of the most successful banking industries in the world today, and continues to use the media to improve the negative image of offshore banking.